brothers, sisters, and others of all colors. Welcome back to a motherfucking YouTube video. This time. It's been a long time, folks. It's been a long time. That is because my phone, well, partially because my phone broke. And, yeah. It's only partially because my phone broke, and the other part was that, like, I really wanted some kind of good visual for the video, right? So, anyways, I guess we'll just settle on this. Basically, in this video, we're explaining the motherfucking intrinsic value of everything. So the first thing that we need to know is that fucking everything is everything. As in, like, you can look at this statement as literally saying E equals E. It's literally that. Now, there are a few parts. I just came up with a cool name for it, okay? I call it the one entity theory. Everything is one entity, one object, one guy, right? So everything is one guy, right? But also, so are sandals. Sandals are also one guy. They are also one entity. Right? Entity. One thing, okay? Everything is one individual thing. Alright? Which also is true. Everything is everything, right? And we can draw this back to the good old, my favorite, law of identity. That states that B. Basically, all the law of identity says is that A has traits, A has some B DNA and some C DNA. But fundamentally, and this is assuming that A has nothing inside of it, A is itself. So A equals A. Alright? Anything is fundamentally itself. If something is not itself, then it's fucked. Okay? It's like something cannot not be itself. That's what it's saying. So you're always yourself and everything is itself all the fucking time. The part of the profound wisdom that it is what it is. Because it literally just is what it is. However, I do think that there is some room for that to be kind of just a dismissive statement that's just not very useful. for the person who's going through it. It could just be avoidance, right? But it literally just is what it is. So everything is everything. We know this to be true. Everything is one guy, and this one guy is itself. Alright? That's all I'm really getting at here. So far, you got me? And this sandal is its own individual entity as well. So now that we realize that now that we know that everything is everything, this has multiple meanings, and both of them are true. That everything both contains every individual thing. It also means that every individual thing contains everything else within itself. That you are just as much a part of the world as the world is just as a part of you. Right? And so you see the world, and the world sees you. Alright? Now there's another part of this whole situation that we have to talk about, and this is about relationships and connection. Me, my relationship with you is its own entity as well. And that relationship is its own entity, right? It's its own thing. It's as much of a thing as like I'm holding a marker in my hand right now. You can't really see it, but like right? It is as much of a thing, like an individual thing, as this other object is another object. It's kind of like, that's the best way I can put it, and it still doesn't really feel like I'm explaining it well. But yes, it is, think of it as a separate object rather than just as like a rather than like some abstract mesh as just some I don't even know how you think about it now. my mind has been totally changed. But yeah, think of it just as much as a separate object as like another physical object in your space would be a separate object, just as you would recognize any other physical object as a separate object. I actually think, now this is insane to a lot of like, or this is not exactly the most this is controversial, okay? But we think of everything as separate, or we think of everything as together, right? That we're all one, and it means this, right? It means that we're all like inside of the same brain cell, of the same fucking guy, right? Or something like that. The same, like, you know what I'm saying? But equally, the more everything is everything, the more everything is an individual thing. The more connected we are, the more separate we are. And so it's easier for us to see our differences, right? The more you recognize that everything is connected, the more you see the differences, the more you're actually able to separate and see things for what they are on an individual scale. The less everything is everything, the more things blend together. But that's not the thing. We don't blend together, right? We're all separate things in one giant fucking universe. Or maybe there's many of them. However it fucking works, right? So anyways, once you see this particular pattern, you then can do this. If something as abstract as a relationship can be its own thing, and what about the concept of value? I would actually argue that value, well, I mean, I'm literally just saying that value is its own thing. It's not just a perception of humanity, right? That you can have separate things and still order them. But that doesn't mean that like there's this other side to things where, like, well, if everything is everything, then how can things be like ordered, right? How can you organize things? And it's like, yes, you can still do that. In fact, it's going to be even easier. Now you can see those things more clearly. There is a tier list. But anyways, yeah, so it's not just like fucking pool of shit. It's not just chaos. Folks, it's not just chaos. We can have our own ideas about these. These things are all still. In fact, I'd argue that's half the point of having a mind, so that you can separate and discriminate and deliberate. So that you can do this shit if you want to do it. Right? And sometimes looking at things as a you have to know that the hierarchy in your mind, alright, for as real as it is one thing among many, and it does not equate. It is not something that it's not. Because only A can only be A. A does not equal B. It can be similar to B, it can carry a lot of similar traits that I perceive to be B, but A cannot be B. Alright? Yes. Our ideas of how things are organized are their own thing and they're valid in their own right. Right? We cannot say that this is reality. Because it's not. But it is a part of reality, which is important too. Alright? It is a part of reality, and that's important too. And it's important to be a part of reality. You know what I'm saying? One of many. And that's okay. That's also cool, and that's also worth celebrating, you know? A while ago, I was trying to understand this problem called externalization. Basically, the idea is that I think my perception is everything, or my perception of everything is everything. And before I thought, no, that's not true. That my perception can't be everything because only everything is. But the truth is actually different than that. The truth is, my perception is a part of everything else. My perception is only a part of the perception of everything. Or of everything. Starting to get a little freaky and existential for me, but I'm starting to think about, like, wait, hold on, is that why I physically can't see myself, like, actually? Because I can't exist outside of myself in order to see myself? Holy shit. That's crazy. But yeah. So basically, value is its, well, all I was trying to get at with that is that value is its own thing, and our perceptions of value is also its own thing, a part of value. And I think that value values that, alright? Our perceptions are a part of value. Our ideas, thoughts, these are all things that are a part of value, the good, the bad, the ugly, okay? Because value, just like everything else, also contains everything, including you, including me. Therefore, all of life is intrinsic to value. Everything is intrinsic value. Because value is just like me and you. We all have everything inside of us. Because fucking everything. It's pretty. I mean, as weird as it is to think in terms of this, it's crystal clear. It's like I'm sometimes shocked by how straightforward things like this really are. And it's not that we're smart or dumb because it is straightforward. It's more like not smart or dumb because it is straightforward and we can't it's like there are things in life that get in the way of being able to see stuff like this. Part of it is because it's not really necessary. It's just something you know and something you operate on and something that's true. At least I perceive it to be that way. So yes, and before, anyways, I cut myself off from a story about externalization. The deal with it is that like externalization was this idea that yeah, we aren't like this isn't everything. I'm not seeing everything. The reality is it's because I'm only seeing a part of everything, just like everybody else. But that's important. That's cool because my everything is only a part of. But yeah, my everything is a part of everything too. It's also that part, right? My part is also. My truth is also a part of the truth as a concept, but nobody sees the truth. We only see what we see of the truth. Again, one of those weird things that when I say it, it's like, holy shit, that's so true. But if you weren't thinking about it, you'd be like, that's not true. That's bullshit. or maybe you'd be like 100, 100, 100. Fire. Shout. Shout emoji. But you know what I mean? Anyways, hopefully this shit made sense. But yeah. So yeah, all things are intrinsically valuable because everything is everything. And value is a part of everything. It means it carries the traits of everything, as we haven't discussed in the law of identity, but is true. And you know that everything is because you can look around you and say, oh yeah, there's everything. There's plenty of everything out there. So yeah. That's all I had to say for today, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's been a long time and, you know, we're gonna be back. Anyways, if you liked the video, if you watched all the way to the end, like, comment, and subscribe, please and thank you. I'm out this month.